Hello everybody, and Jess here, and welcome back to Witch Hat Atelier episode 7, in which shit is probably gonna hit the fan, if I'm to guess, because the previous episode was fairly chill, right, and fairly even heartwarming, I would say. So it stands to reason that defecation is going to hit the ventilation now. Because, I mean, that's usually how it is, right? We get some excitement, some big things happening, then a little episode of a break, and then more big, big things. I'm I'm missing words today. Haven't slept well. Maybe that's why I was a little sick yesterday. That's why there wasn't an episode yesterday, but I think I'm good enough now to record. So, let's start with what happened in the previous episode, maybe, shall we? In the previous episode, we had Qifrey give Coco a very important tip when it comes to learning magic. The best way to learn is by doing, right? Just drawing abstract shapes without any rhyme or reason, without any purpose behind them. Sure, you might learn that way, but the best way to learn is when you have an actual use for the thing you're learning. And so he had Coco help out in the kitchen. He had her cook some sort of a tuber kind of melon looking thing, and she had to practice her skill to cook it. She had to adjust the flame appropriately so that it's cooked but not scorched. She had to adjust the levitation strength so that the melon is, floating in mid-air but not shooting into the ceiling, not falling down. And eventually she got it. And through that process, she learned a lot, right? Because she had an actual good and proper goal that guided her. So that was very nice, and I really like it because that's also how I always tell people to learn, right? You have to find some objective and learn towards that. You want to learn programming? Sure, absolutely. Pick a project. Pick a thing you want to make, right? Maybe it's some automation, maybe it's a script that, I know, buys a new Lego set every month. Maybe it's writing software, maybe it's a website with pictures of cats. I don't know. But pick something and learn your way towards it. That's the best way. And Qifrey also understands it. So we are soulmates here. And in the second half, although we didn't have that, clear distinction because they cooked some food and went off for a picnic, except Agathe. Agathe was stuck in her old ways of just cramming, and she was working on some beam of light kind of thing, and she was cramming that without any sort of distractions, right? We learned that Agathe cannot have any distractions around her, which, I mean, when you're a mage, in the wild, so to speak, there are gonna be distractions. So if she wants to be a witch, sorry, not a mage, a witch. So if she wants to be a witch, like good and proper witch, she will have to learn to deal with those distractions. And we already have a very nice, interesting potential character arc for her, as she learns to deal with that, in no small part thanks to Coco, who is admittedly very distracting at times. There was the picnic. Coco ran off to the atelier to get Agathe because the sky was getting pretty and it was sundown and there were some god rays and it was just nice outside. But instead of Agathe, she saw an unfamiliar man who quickly was introduced to us as Olrugio. Olrugio, who is a bit of an insider man of the witch government, meaning remote ateliers have to be, controlled by the government. Because, of course, because this world is already showing big signs of dystopia, so duh. And so they get, I forgot the term, but essentially a government employee who lives at that atelier and snitches on whatever evil things are happening. Well, evil, quote unquote. For Qifrey's atelier, that's Olrugio. Something tells me, though, that he's not gonna be one to snitch. Because, well, initially, yes, he did want to instantly take Coco to the Knights Moralis, which, as we already know, is the equivalent of Witch Gestapo, and for her memories and everything about magic to be wiped, but eventually came to like her, I'd say, in a very, very Tsun way, right? And absolutely not showing that. But there is something about Coco's love for magic, and Olorugio being very apprehensive to bring her to the Knight Moralis after Qifrey said that if you bring her there, they will erase even her love for magic. So there is something about the love for magic there, and about Olorugio being this very, how do I call it? Maybe not unkempt, but kinda, unkempt, vaguely depressed kinda character who perhaps lost that love for magic and knows that life is hell without it. And so he doesn't want Coco to go through the same thing, right? Like, we know he's a good guy. He did dry off Brush Body and then dried Coco as well, even though he was grumbling about it the whole time. And we also know that the glowing stones that inspired Coco to become a witch one day were also his creation. So he's kinda responsible for Coco being here in some, abstract way, so to speak. And that's where it ended. We now have a new character, a secondary caregiver, basically, essentially, who is who seems to me will be stuck between two loyalties, right? Loyalty to Qifrey, his friend, I believe, and the students at the atelier and Coco, right, and everything that he himself believes to be good in the world, versus his loyalty to the state, which is enforced, which should be by all means good, right? I mean, the state wants the best for us, obviously. So there's going to be a lot of that, internal struggle, I feel, in Olorugyo. That's going to be the defining trait of his character, but I don't know. I don't know, we'll see, perhaps even in today's episode. So, how about we just watch it, shall we? And to do that, you're going to need your subs, of course, to follow along with me. And if you don't want to bother, you can go to my Patreon link down in the description where you can get the same episode in picture mode with the anime, with sound, with everything here in the corner, so you don't need like a second screen or whatever you're using. I'm gonna need my sound to hear what's going on in the show and to hear my own voice, of course. And I'm gonna have to ask you for support. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon or YouTube down below, or not. Share my content, spread the word, cost nothing, helps a lot. And with that, we can start watching episode 7 of Witch Hat Atelier in 3, 2, 1, go. Rain. And witches riding horses. Oh, Agot. Oh, right. It ended with the villager coming, like, rain took away the carriage. Yeah, this thing. And Agot wants to desperately show her skill. Good point. Probably, I know. When you pass the test? Yeah, but we're talking about, someone without OSHA training being sent up the fucking scaffolding. Right? So. No, you're not. Yes, but you have to be prepared to experience reality. Yep. Yeah, she will probably try to desperately do something that she's unable to, but she just won't admit that she's not able to do that. Right? I can see that being the case. Someone who's not Agot would say, hey, actually, you know, time out. I can't do that. That's too much for me. Here, you, Olrugio, Qifrey, whoever, you do that. Not Agot. Because Agot desperately wants validation. She desperately wants to show that she's, good enough and trained enough. And asking someone for help would be admitting that she can't do something, which in her eyes would make her, not ready. And she can't be not ready. She's ready, even if everything points otherwise. I'm gonna close the window right quick. There we go. So yeah, Agot's gonna fuck something up. 100%. We'll see about that. No, do what you're told. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, not when, human life is at stake. When human life is at stake, you do what you're told. Because you are. You just are unwilling to admit it. Like everybody else is like, oh, I have a lot to learn. Not Agot. Why do you have a sword, my dude? Hey, Agat, how goes drying people off? Are they dry yet? Well, that was unnecessary. You saved the people, wasn't that enough? Nice. That was a good dab. Well, not quite a dab, but. Yeah, I mean, it is cool. It is very much cool. Hmm. And filled with ink. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, makes sense. With magic this powerful. Like, drawing circles on their own, they can only do as much as they can, right? Leaving those two together is probably not the best decision. Just saying. It didn't end well last time, Qifrey. But yeah, what was I about? Right. They can't really, harm themselves by using the sort of magic that they know how to do. But a magical tool can, surpass their ability thousandfold. And they are still able to use it. There's not, mana limiter or requirement that you need, you know, 58 int to use it. How do you plan on picking it up and climbing? Yeah. And is Coco going with it? No, she wasn't caught in a mudslide, I don't think. Oh, she did go down. Fuck. I mean, she's clearly not alright. There is something in this show where characters ask, "Are you alright?" in moments where the other character is clearly not alright. Okay, Agot. How are you gonna fuck it up? How are you gonna fuck it up? Crazy that this is what she's thinking about. Right? Like, her first concern isn't Coco is in danger and that other guy is in danger, I must save them. Her first concern is the senseis aren't here, I can show off. Very Brim had coded those characters. Now they don't have brims, but the eyes, the patterns, right? Okay, she has this kind of past. Which I guess explains why she's so desperate to prove herself now. Yeah, like Coco herself is in danger, and the first thing she's thinking about to save the other guy. Right? Yeah, her ink and paper and shit is fucked. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were prepared. You're not? What, Knights Morales? Is like making water pillars illegal? His sword? Oh, rings. Sure, do that instead of using it yourself. Right. Right. You're gonna jump down there. Okay, what are you doing, Agot? What are you doing, Agot? Getting their attention so that Coco can do her thing? Or are you actually. Oh, a good old flashbang. Or, I guess, a signal flare. Maybe Qifrey or Olrugio notice it and figure out that it's a signal? Maybe. Just draw a big circle on the stone. Right, but now she has an additional witness. And time's passing, right? And those people can like be captivated by jingling keys for only so long. Yeah. Like I would be bored by now, not gonna lie. Yeah. You did fuck all, Agot. Oh, she managed to float, and yeah, she drew the levitation on her cloak. Makes sense. Now I hope Kustas didn't see you drawing the circle. Ink. Hmm? Oh! She blasted the rock. Yeah. Okay. And then levitation on her cape. Good thinking. Hmm? What's that? Oh. I thought she spotted like fucking Knights Morales kicking down the door. Yeah, that's Coco's primary motivation, which is arguably more, you know, uh oh, that's Knights Morales probably. Like Coco's motivation is more like drawing. It's more, draw than Agot's motivation of I want to show off. It's Knights Morales. Hmm. Cool. Which one? There were like four in a short span of time. Yeah. That's That's a very good question. That's not the spell she cast. Yeah. So it couldn't have been her, logically. Well, that thing looks very forbidden. Is that Egwene's gift? That randomly the regular spells she cast just turn into forbidden spells? I don't know. I don't know. Then again, the sandification happened well after she broke the rock. So it would have had to be some like delayed effect spell. Hmm. The misgivings of the Knights Moralis. Okay. That was an exceptionally short episode. Like, I know, I know that I say it very often that an episode was short, but I wholly and entirely and like I expected the second half to start. I did not expect this to end at Knights Morales arriving and like I know. I did not expect that. This won't be like your lessons. You haven't even taken the second test to be allowed to cast in front of them. Right, I've been practicing and I've been preparing for the test. Right, but that's the thing. You've been practicing and preparing for the test. You have not taken the test. Right? Like, there is a difference. Quite a big one. Like, I I've been studying for the CAE exam, certificate in advanced English. Never actually got that exam done. I can't say I have the CAE exam because I haven't done it. So if some job opportunity seeks someone with a CAE exam, well, I don't have it. Right? Like, there's a difference between learning something and passing the exam, passing the test, because sure, Agot is very cocksure right now. She could very well fail that exam, right? Like, she's thinking, I've been learning so much towards that exam, so the exam is just a formality. Well, you don't know that because you haven't even attempted it. Yeah, she's very hot headed like that. Ready the medicine and contraptions. Agatha in particular, yeah. She focuses not on the joy of what she's accomplished, but on the frustration of things she can't yet do. Yeah, which makes it so that I feel like she would be the kind of character, the kind of person who doesn't continue practicing the basics. As soon as they start learning about some more advanced subject, they completely disregard the basics, and that's no way to learn, not sustainably, because whatever it is that you're learning, every further level builds up on your knowledge of the level below, right? Um, Doing multiplication is based on your knowledge of doing addition. Uh, doing powers of numbers is based on your knowledge of multiplication, right? Doing roots is based on your knowledge of squares. Subtraction is based on your knowledge of addition and negative numbers. Division is based on your knowledge of fractions and multiplication, etc., etc., etc. Everything builds upon everything else. So when you like when you get to, I don't know, algebra with letters instead of numbers, but you haven't been doing any multiplication exercises all this time and you don't remember what multiplication is, like you're not going to be able to calculate the surface of a circle or whatever. You know what I'm trying to say, right? OP, 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 OP. Who is magic for? Yeah, magic is not for me. Magic is for people around me. Magic is for everyone. That's the lesson, that's the moral here, I feel. The Agot's inner thoughts contrasted with what Coco said immediately. That basically gives you the moral of the story. Like straight up, without any sort of, room for interpretation. Agot, yeah, you go dry those people off. Yes, I do want you to use magic contraptions. That's exactly what I want you to do. You're too impatient if you want to show off what you can do, but if you want to be useful, yeah. Not here, right? Like, I get it that you want to show off, but maybe not when people's lives are at stake. Right? Okay? Like, can you show off when we're cooking, maybe? That would be a safe place to show off, right? And low stakes. Because worst that you do is you burn a fucking watermelon. And we're not gonna eat watermelon, boo-hoo. But maybe not when people's lives are at stakes. Right? He's treating me like an ignorant child. Because you kinda are. You kinda are. And this is Agut's defining trait. Everybody else, right? Riche, Tetia, Coco would be ready to admit, yes, I am actually an ignorant child. No, I don't want to, risk saving that person in case something goes wrong. I don't. You're giving me those cool rings. Amazing. I fucking love rings. I'm gonna dry them all off so fucking quick. But not Agot. She's aiming way too high. Uh, we have a saying in Polish which has a very good, like, fits very well here, and it's wyżej sra niż dupę ma, which roughly translates to they're shitting higher than their ass is. She's trying to do more than she's actually capable of without admitting that she might not be capable of it. I need to prove to that person as soon as possible that I'm a worthy witch. Right, now, riddle me this. What makes a worthy witch? Big spells? I don't know. Complex spells? Maybe. Or is it maybe helping people? Is it maybe uh, listening to your, teachers? Won't that make a good witch? Maybe recognizing their own strengths and weaknesses makes a good witch, right? But Agot seems to have that image in her head that powerful equals good. Coco is a good witch, right? She has a very small pool of spells and seals and shit that she knows, but she can utilize them in imaginative ways. Creating the sail to get the flower, drawing on her cloak to levitate, using blasting charges to destroy the rock, right? She's a good witch, because she can do a lot with a limited skill set. Agot thinks that unless you're able to, like, split a mountain in half, you're not a good witch. You should be able to draw a magic circle with 78 layers that just deletes a continent. That makes you a good witch. Hmm. She has a lot of potential to be a villain, doesn't she? I don't think she will become a villain. She might. Uh, well, depending how the story goes, she might become antagonistic towards Coco in kinda sorta Catra and Adora way, where they are actually aligned, but because of circumstances and how things went, they are at each other's throats, right? Like this kind of thing, maybe. I know, but her motivations alone and her mindset alone uh, give me the impression that she has potential to be a villain. He parted the river with a sword. Yeah. Hmm. I thought something simple is going to happen with Agot. Like maybe Olrugi is gonna be carrying out this one person. Agot's gonna see, oh, Qifrey is having trouble, and she's gonna jump in trying to save that other person, but she will drop them and she will fall into the water herself, and she's gonna cause an entire whole fucking conundrum. I did not quite envision this episode going where it went, and I'm glad. I'm really, actually, legitimately glad that I'm finding it hard to predict where each individual episode is going to go. Now, what was this about? Like, the people are saved, right? There are no problems. Why this final slash? Why this column of water? Which, by the way, is the very thing that attracted Knights Morales. I guess he created like a temporary dam or something, maybe with that swing. Ah, that's a cool moment. Hmm. Rain Cleaver. The pattern inscribed on the blade is made up of casting seals. Yeah, seems to be plenty of water and levitation seals, with some that we haven't seen yet. You could even carve a path through the ocean. Magic cast on weapons requires the utmost caution. Yeah, actually, without any sort of limitations. Yeah, as I said, like Coco is able to draw a small fire spell and a small levitation spell, and that's all she knows. She can't really draw anything more complex, so she won't be able to hurt herself too much with that, so it's safe. But to use this sword, she doesn't need any knowledge of how to use it, and she can cause a catastrophe. So it is dangerous, indeed. I'm going to check upriver, I'll check downriver, taking one apprentice each, and of course, obviously, leaving fucking Coco and Agot alone. How did Qifrey come to the conclusion that this would be a remotely good idea? Riddle me this, Batman. Last time they were left to their own devices, Agot sent Coco to the fucking Shadow Realm to get flour. And Coco could have realistically died there. Right? So maybe let's not do it again, huh? Maybe let's leave behind, like, Richa and Tetya. And take Agot and Coco with us. Maybe. Or maybe, I don't know, leave behind Qifrey, and Tetya and Richa can go downstream, and Olrugio and Agot can go upstream. I don't know. There were better solutions. Also, yeah, her silk shoes were not repaired yet. Why? Why were they not repaired yet? Like, this should be a minute for Qifrey. The Sylph Shoes spell is not all that complex. We've all seen it. It's not like super hyper fucking complex 17-layer magic circle. He should be able to be like, oh, right, your fucking boots, gimme. They're fixed. Why are they not fixed yet? For story, right? I know. For drama, to serve as a plot device, yes, but from what we've seen so far, everything that we've seen so far shows Qifrey as a good teacher, but not the best caregiver. I'd even hazard a say, a shitty caregiver. Because, come the fuck on. Of course, there's always gotta be some fucking idiot that will risk their life for a handful of coin because, duh, of course. I'm just risking my life. What is my life in comparison to a fucking shipment of beef jerky? Of course, beef jerky is more important. Coco's hat is off. Could that have something to do with the spells she cast? Let me right quick. I'm gonna grab episode 6. When she's cooking, she doesn't have her hat on. I thought that maybe the hat now acts as some sort of a seal, where the brim hat is like, oh, when you take off the hat, then you're gonna be casting forbidden spells left and right, or something like that. But no, like she drew plenty of spells without a hat, and nothing bad happened. This shows her initial, at least, character very nicely. I'm begging you, please save him. Wait, that's my chance. Our masters aren't here. Coco's looked down. The situation is desperate. I have the perfect excuse. Shit, I can show off. Right? This is what I'm talking about when I say that that Agot has a lot of potential for, becoming a villain. Potentially. In some parallel dimension, perhaps, when Coco isn't here. Agot could very well become a villain who wants to show off, who wants to get power, who doesn't understand the limitations that her teachers put on her. No, I want more power. I want to show my strength, and goes crazy with that, right? Like this kind of a character. But Coco tempers that. Castas is in danger down there. Yeah, apparently she was not particularly skilled when she was a child, and so she wants to prove the world wrong. And here comes the, snap back to reality. Boom, there goes gravity. Coco, herself in dire straits. Her first and primary concern is, can I do something to help the other guy? Remember, Coco desperately wants to become a witch as well. She really wants to become a witch, but she sees a different path towards it. Coco's path is, I'm gonna continue doing good deeds, I'm gonna continue listening to my teacher, I'm gonna continue getting better at what I'm doing, and eventually I will become a good witch. That's the path to being a good witch. Not Agot. Agot would be ready to, go through a sea of corpses to prove herself worthy. But here comes Coco, who changes that, who takes Agot out of that mindset and reminds her who magic is for, and snaps her out of her rumination and makes her realize, what the fuck have I been thinking of? Why was my primary concern showing off and not saving people? Maybe there is something to what Olrugio said, right? I have a feeling that Coco is going to be a driving force in everybody's character progressions, in everybody's character storylines. Coco is the driving force behind everybody's character growth. He's pinned down, right? I can't climb, but I can't let them see the spells. There's been a report from a village on the outskirts of Kaln. A huge pillar of water was seen in the marsh woods upriver. And we're immediately going. Why is that a signal for the Knights Morales to sortie? A pillar of water. Like, you'd think that it's, something that could just happen, right? Like, your everyday regular water spell could probably do it if you draw it big enough and add some, power up kind of secondary runes or whatever, right? Like, realistically, you could create that with a regular non-forbidden spell. So why is it a concern of the Knights Morales? If they are concerned that someone from the remote atelier, one of the remote ateliers did it, they have their people on the inside. If it actually was forbidden magic, they would have reported. Do they think that it's an attack by the Brim Hats? Maybe magic of this scale can only really be forbidden? Like, there aren't many, if any, witches who can cast spells of this like strength and magnitude. And the only reason Qifrey was able to cast it was because of the sword. Maybe. Is the sword using forbidden magic? I don't think Qifrey would be showing it off so casually if it was. I don't know. I think it might actually be about, witches in everyday lives just use small little spells to help their daily lives and help people around. They don't really create spectacles like that, big spells like that. So it's probably something going on. Maybe it's nothing, right? But it's better to check it because chances are it might have been a brim hat. Maybe. The rings. Yeah, dry the paper. And draw the attention. With some jiggling keys. Having just practiced it so much, I know to move a stone this large and heavy. You could probably draw a steel a circle big enough on the surface of the stone itself. Although the surface of the stone is rough, and that's probably what she feels by, touching it, and we see a close-up. It's rough, so drawing an even, perfect, solid, smooth circle that behaves in a predictable way would not be easy on a surface art like this, if possible at all. Right. Makes sense. My friend's spell. Yeah. That was my friend's spell, so what other spells have my friends used? Blasting charge. There we go. And a flying spell. Coco has that one down pat, like she used it once, she's using it again, which again makes me question why are Agot's boots still not fixed if this spell is so simple ultimately to draw. Like, why did Agot not fix those boots herself? You'd think she'd be able to draw this circle. Ah, will she ever get her flying boots? Sand. I remembered how you used that rock breaking spell to save us before. Yeah, very simple, ultimately. Does Coco have some sort of eidetic memory and she was able to remember that spell? Maybe. She kinda did allude to like remembering the whole magic book by heart. Yeah, seeing your shining bird reminded me. Someday my mother too will be saved. Now, that's interesting. The coast is not sand yet. And yet, the Knight Moralis catch them. Scarlet cloaks and winged caps. That's actually a very interesting and cool and unique tool to catch criminals. Like a prehensile ribbon. That's cool. I like it. I really do like it. Like, it very much feels ceremonial, right? Like, I can see them, I don't know, during some parade or something, holding those up high and the ribbons, like, fluttering in the wind or something like that, right? Like, I fully see the ceremony of it, but they are also useful. Cool. I like it. Were you the one who cast that spell? We use magic to help people. Yeah. Look down there. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like that literally a few seconds ago. Like, the dust is just now only settling. Turn the whole area right down to the riverbed into sand. The river itself is vaporizing into fog. I have no fucking clue. I'm gonna have to go back to episode 6 again. Right quick. Was Coco drawing spells in her booklet? No. She was learning how to draw spells on a sheet of paper that wasn't her booklet. Then, when she was cooking, she also used sheets of paper strapped to a board. She was not using her booklet throughout that episode, I don't think. The gift from Egwene was superpowered booklet, wasn't it? That's it. That's absolutely it. The gift from Egwene was a super powered spell notebook round thingy. The levitation spell was normal because she drew it on her clothes. The blasting charge was not normal because she drew it on presumably enchanted paper or enhanced paper. Huh. Interesting. An apprentice like you couldn't have drawn a spell of this size without violating a taboo. Yeah. Her notebook thingy is a violation of a taboo in and of itself. Unbeknownst to Coco. Ooh. Now, how's she getting out of it? I have an enchanted thingamajig and I don't know where I got it from. I don't know if that's gonna pass. I was attacked by brim hats and taken to a fucking pocket dimension and I passed out. Maybe they did something to my notebook? Maybe. But then, why do brim hats have any interest in specifically you? Right? Is it not the case of them just supporting you because you support them? I don't know how's Coco getting out of it. She doesn't even know what caused it, and I don't think anybody knows what caused it. I don't think we're going into some sort of like Coco in Exile arc of like Iguin arrives, blasts the Knights Morales, helps Coco escape, and now Coco stays with the Brim Hats hiding from justice kinda arc. I don't think that's what we're doing. But there clearly has been some forbidden magic used. And you can't just hand wave it. Even if Olrugio and Qifrey arrive, what are they going to do realistically? Is one of them gonna take the blame on themselves? Like, oh, I drew accidentally a spell that's too powerful and with a delayed effect. Probably not. That would also sound like a bullshit excuse right from the get-go. Way to leave us on a cliffhanger, eh? Now this thing is very interesting. This thingamajig. Come on, show it from up close. There it is. This looks like a magic circle, but inverted. It looks like it was made of ink with either white ink symbols or just totally inverted. If totally inverted, then we could treat it as either some sort of anti-magic thing, or we could treat it as a clue towards you don't actually need magic circles to cast magic with ink because the ink itself is magical and you can use it in other ways. I know. This thing certainly is unique though. It seems to be alive, like those white markings are peeling off the ink base. The whole thing is extending with essentially one big central eye. Reaching for Coco, presumably reaching for her memories to remove them and gobble them up. Why is it giving me Brim Hat vibes though? Why is it giving me Brim Hat vibes? Well, the reversed color scheme, right? If the hero dresses in white, then the villain dresses in black. If the hero uses blue lightsaber, the villain uses red lightsaber, right? Like basic like color contrast between hero and villain. The eye theme. Brim hats have a lot of eyes. And this is one big eye with clawed appendages. I'm pretty much certain that Knights Morales themselves use forbidden magic. I think I even have it noted down somewhere. I don't know, maybe. Knights Morales use forbidden magic themselves. The misgivings of the Knights Morales. Now, I wanna Google right quick. Right very quick. The definition of misgiving. so that I know, that I understand it. Misgiving is a noun that means a feeling of doubt or worry about a future event. Okay. So, the Knights Morales are afraid of some potential future event. The Brim Hat uprising. Ah, no. Coco being recruited by the Brim Hats. Maybe. Ah? I've no idea. There was a lot in this episode, and my brain no worky no more. So, so I think I'm gonna stop it here, and like sleep on it. Oh boy, this episode was a lot. It was a lot because early on we learned a lot about Agathe. We learned a lot about her motivations, about the cause for those motivations, right? Like what caused them. Uh, we learned a lot about her as a character, what drives her, what makes her tick. We saw that potential for villainy in her that is thwarted only by Coco's presence, I feel. If not for Coco, I think that Agot might have actually ended up going some sort of a villainous route. I don't know what kind. Maybe she would have joined the Brim Hats in search for more power. Maybe she would have become a rogue witch researching magic on her own. Maybe she would have joined Knights Morales to have that feeling of superiority over everyone else. She would have picked some sort of a villainous route. She has a lot of potential for that. But mostly, we learned about Egwene's gift to Coco. I think I'm right on the money with her notebook being enchanted. It's nothing to do with the hat, it's nothing to do with Coco herself, it's her little notebook. Which makes me wonder if the Knights Morales are going to like get it from her, or is that enchantment hidden, secret somehow, and they can't even see that the notebook itself uses forbidden magic? Ah. Now, what was the purpose of Egwene giving Coco this particular gift? To hmm to separate Coco from society of witches. The first time she casts a big spell unwittingly, either the Knights Morales get her, or she causes some sort of catastrophe, something where she doesn't know what's going on, suddenly the whole world is against her, she has to run. And there come the Brim Hats, with open arms. Hey, Coco. The world of witches doesn't understand you, but we do. We will give you shelter. We will give you training. Right? I think that was the goal. And I wonder how that goal could possibly be thwarted, because I feel like it's going to be. Because I feel that while Coco interacting with the Brim Hats, either in secrecy or actually like going to be a pupil of Egwene or someone, I don't know, but some, right, like interacting with them to some degree is a given. I don't think we are there yet. I think it's too early. I think that Coco needs to get to know the outside world, the overworld, for her plunge into the underworld to have maximum effect. If that's what's going to happen, And I strongly believe that's what's going to happen at some point. But I don't think quite this early. I really wonder where it's gonna go. But yeah, we also learned about the Knights Morales. We know that they have like a weird thingamagic black blob with hands that presumably removes memories. And we know that using magic on a human body is forbidden magic. Removing memories, therefore, is forbidden magic. Ergo, Knights Morales are using forbidden magic themselves. It's a classic case of we are fighting against X, but we need to use X to fight it, properly. And X is corrupting, but we are immune to corruption. We're incorruptible. We use X responsibly. Oh, the story has the potential to have much more depth than I initially was giving it credit for. Like even early on, I thought that it's going places, right? Like with the brim hats, with Qifrey threatening Noa to not squeak a word to the Knights Morales, right? With all that stuff. But yeah, each episode just shows me that there's more and more and more depth, and we're just swimming on the surface. And I love it. But I think that's it. That's all I had to say on the topic of today's episode. But maybe you guys have something more to add on the topic of this episode, my reaction, my theories, stuff like that. If so, say so in the comments down below. No spoilers, please. Spoilers can go to my Discord right up here, also in the description. Like this video if you liked it. Subscribe and click the bell to be notified of future videos. On mobile, there's also like hype button, I think. You can press that if you'd like. Support the channel if you want monetarily on a Patreon or YouTube, linked down below. And on Patreon, you get access to picture-in-picture videos, so you don't have to sync up your own copy to the subs. And if you don't feel like paying anything, you don't have to, but please share this content, spread the word. It helps the channel a lot to get new viewers, and costs you absolutely nothing to do so. So right now, I think that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's my wonderful Patreons: QB, Jack, Wit, Al, Flor Nightingale, Dr. Watt, Fussel, and Hans Peter. And you can join them if you want without having to use an enchanted notebook.